I especially want to thank you fans in New England who have helped make the New England Whalers the #1 team in the WHA. And now let me return you to Jack Kelly.
We wanted our strength to be at defense and in the goal, and I think we have been successful in that. I think the fellows who are back at defense and in the goal have done a remarkable job for us. Fellows like Brad Selwood.
Selwood came to the Whalers from the Toronto Maple Leafs, but besides being a rugged defenseman, Selwood is a man to be reckoned with on offense. He possesses an excellent shot. During the season, he scored 13 goals and a total of 34 points. He scored another 3 goals and 8 points in the playoffs. Selwood generally plays alongside Jim Dory, who was a teammate of his at Toronto, as was Rick Lee. They and Ted Green brought a total of 19 years of National Hockey League experience to the Whalers, so it's no wonder the Whalers are known for their defense.
Rick comes to play hockey every night. Guaranteed 110% performance. Extremely tough in the corner. Meets the play well. A real spark plug. Certainly one of our finest performers this past year.
Kelly played Lee alongside Captain Ted Green, and no two defensemen were ever better matched. Lee is especially aggressive in the corners and very effective at getting the puck out of trouble. Offensively, Lee scored 30 points during the season. He got 10 more in the playoffs, including 3 goals.
Jim Dory. Jim moves the puck extremely well. Very clever at hitting his forwards and carrying the puck out of his own into the ice.
He is also an excellent playmaker. Dory was the Whalers' 5th leading scorer last season with 63 points. He scored another 19 points in the playoffs, and only Tom Webster and Tim Sheehy scored more.
Paul Hill, probably one of the underrated defensemen in our league. Certainly did a great job all year long. Tremendous at blocking shots, moving the puck out of his own end of the ice. Definitely the best 5th defenseman in our league.
Jack Kelly got his first look at Hurley when Hurley was an All-American at Boston College, playing against Jack's Boston University team. Hurley spent 3 years in the minors, moving up to the Whalers from the Boston Braves, the American Hockey League. Considering the 4 established defensemen playing ahead of him, Paul didn't figure to get in much playing time, and at first he didn't. But midway in the season, Hurley was needed to fill in for a few games at forward. He did such a good job hitting people that Kelly gave him more and more ice time on defense. As Kelly put it, all the defensemen hit, but Paul rubbed people out.
Al Smith. This is where it all begins. Have to have that good goaltending, that steady goaltending to be a contender. Al is a money player, can really come through when the chips are on the table.
Kelly says that Al Smith was probably the Whalers' most valuable player in the playoffs, and Bobby Hull agrees. Smith played every minute of every game in the playoffs, winning 12 and losing only 3. He also played in 51 of the 78 regular season games.
Landon was back up to Al, did a tremendous job all year long, came in with some great key performances. Young goaltender with a great future. Without good, solid goaltending, the team can never be a champion. Ted Green, captain of the New England Whalers. Ted has done a tremendous job for us all year long.
I didn't know what to expect for myself or for the team at the start of the year. I should say for myself, but for the team, on paper it looks like we had a real good hockey club. A lot of experience on defense and goal and up front, and we were expected to have a real good year, and we were expected to finish in first place, which is what we did. As for myself, I was pretty apprehensive about the whole thing. But as the season went on, I could see that this league has great possibilities. The league is very competitive, and second half compared to the first half, we've drawn more fans.
The Whalers' winning record was one reason the Whalers were the World Hockey Association's best drawing franchise. The presence of Ted Green was another. Green built up a tremendous following during his 10 years with the Bruins. The Boston fans loved him, and the feeling was mutual. It was for that reason that Ted passed up the chance to return to his hometown of Winnipeg to play for Bobby Hull's Jets. With the Bruins, Green was the most hated gate attraction in the National Hockey League. He was known as Terrible Ted Green, but Green claims the label no longer fits. He says he is not the rough and tough player he once was. Well, maybe not, but as a Whaler, Green still employs the skill, muscle, and guts that made him the Bruins' most valuable player.
You have to have a lot of intestinal fortitude and a lot of courage to play this game. Yes, it's a man's game, it's a tough game, and I think anybody who's timid will find himself not in the game too long.
Green says that he is using abilities more than ever, and that he is not taking all the penalties he used to. The record bears this out. But when Ted Green throws a body check or takes somebody into the boards, the fans react. And speaking of intestinal fortitude, Green says that is what it takes for a player to play up to his potential when he may not feel like playing, either mentally or physically, and to endure all the traveling and the rigorous schedule. Ted Green has it. He never missed a game for the Whalers. He played despite a series of hand and wrist injuries, and he played well, setting an excellent example for the team's younger players. And the results came amazingly fast. As the younger players developed and gained confidence, the Whalers evolved from a conglomeration of individuals into a team, and then into champions.
I am the oldest fellow in this club, and a lot of the younger fellows, especially guys who haven't played pro before, sort of look towards me for advice in certain situations, and did ask me for advice, and I tried to help them out the best I could. But as a captain and apparent leader of this club, I just try to do my leadership through my work on the ice.
Green cites the Whalers as an example of the development of the American hockey player. The Whalers have 5 American-born players and 5 others who played college hockey in the U.S. Players like Tim Sheehy, Larry Plow, Tommy Williams, Kevin Ahern, John Danby, and Paul Hurley. Even the coach and general manager, Jack Kelly. Kelly won 2 straight NCAA championships at Boston University before joining the Whalers. It was his first experience with a pro team, and a challenge to be sure. But Jack Kelly more than met that challenge.
Jack Kelly's pulled a couple of surprises on me this year I've never seen in National Hockey, and that is a move when we're 2 men short. We start to have players rotating instead of running all over like we do 3 against 5. The players rotate, and it's a system that at the beginning of the year I didn't think was going to work. But I feel that's probably the best way to work out this system is the one that Jack has. And there's been a lot said about college coaches coming to professional ranks, and Jack is a fine example of a person who's never played professional hockey or coached professional hockey, and has got a lot of his points across strongly to the guys and has done a tremendous job for us.
We were very high on Terry Caffrey, who was the American League Rookie of the Year last year. He's come into our league and had a great year.
And that's putting it mildly. Caffrey was the World Hockey Association's Rookie of the Year. He scored an even 100 points, including 39 goals, and that despite a knee injury and a broken nose.
Timmy Sheehy, who is just an amateur, but a highly rated amateur, has come on and done very well for us. And I could go on, and I'd hate to overlook any one particular boy. But certainly, we have had good balance up front and good scoring, and that's been a little bit of a surprise to me.
Sheehy scored 33 goals and 71 points during the season to become the team's 4th leading scorer in both categories, behind Tom Webster, Terry Caffrey, and Larry Plow. In the playoffs, Sheehy had 9 goals and 23 points, second to Webster's 26. Sheehy isn't afraid to throw his weight around either. For a first-year professional, Tim Sheehy came a long way in a short year.
we felt if we were going to be weak, it would be up front. We weren't too experienced in the forwards. We went with some young amateurs, some college boys who had no professional experience, and that was a reasonable gamble. I felt confident they would adjust and come along with the season, and I think the record proves that they have done just that. Certainly the confidence of having experienced defense and experienced goaltending has helped these young players develop, and probably more than any other reason, the experience of former NHL players has contributed the greatest part in the development of our young players. We were fortunate in making a trade for Britt Selby early this year. We had an injury to Johnny Cuniff, and that kind of shot us on the left side. We had a surplus of defensemen if 6 or 7 is a surplus. And we did trade one of our young defensemen for Britt Selby, and Britt has been a real fine addition. And then late in the year, we were capable and fortunate enough to trade for Mike Byers, who's an experienced NHL player and has lent a great deal to our third line, has given us more balance there and a little more scoring, which has helped us over the stretch drive. The forwards, they've surprised us. We have more scoring power than we probably thought we were going to have. Players like Tommy Webster, coming off a year's inactivity, has had a super year.
I happened to pick up my 50th goal. It's a nice feeling right now. It's nice to get, I guess, since we've won first place, and we ended up in first place in the league. But I have to give a lot of credit to my centerman, Terry Caffrey, who I've been playing with as a regular for most of the season, and my left winger, Britt Selby, who's helped me out quite a bit. I think it all just boils down to the one word, is work. You have to work together when you're out on the ice, especially when you're on with a line. As we were set with my centerman, my left winger, we were set throughout most of the year, and we just worked together and worked hard at it, so that we knew what we were supposed to do once we got out on the ice, and just kept working at it until the coach had confidence in us and we had confidence in ourselves to go out and do the best that we could. I think before you go out on the ice, you'd always look and see who's out there, who you're against. I think you'd be awful silly if you just went out there and not look around and see who's on defense, because you come down with your head down, you deserve to get hit. I think you just have to look around and move the puck. Let the puck do the work. If you get hit, if it's a clean check, you don't mind. But it's a dirty check, well, you try and get evens. I'm awful proud to be a member of the WHA. That I'm glad that I made the jump to come to Boston, because it is such a great hockey town. And, of course, they support the team. The people have been very, very patient with our hockey club.
Who's a young player and has been in the Canadian system, never really having a chance to develop, has had a great year.
I really enjoyed playing on the Jack. He's 100%. He's always working hard. He's just like a player. He's behind the bench. He gets involved in the game. He's always giving 100%. I think we've had a real successful season. I think the Fans-wise, we've averaged about 10,000 fans at the Gardens here. We ended up in first place, and this is what we were out to do in the beginning of the year, is have a first-place team in Boston. We knew we had to have a first-place team to compete with the Bruins, and a great point in the history of the Whalers was Tommy Webster scored 50 goals, and there's only 11 men in the history of Major League Hockey that have scored 50 goals, and I think we're pretty happy about that.
At the beginning, I'm sure that we had kind of an overflow of Bruin fans who couldn't get in to see the Bruins play and wanted to follow NHL hockey. But as the year went along, I could see these people kind of turning over, and I think now they're completely dedicated Whaler fans. And I only think our future is a real solid and bright one, as I'm sure next year, if we played all our games in the Garden or a facility such as that, we'll average better than 10,000 a game.
The Whalers had the best attendance rating in the league last year, and their 30-year-old president, Howard Baldwin, was named the League Executive of the Year.
I'm very happy with the way things turned out. I'm very pleased for Coach Kelly for the way he's handled the matter. It was a new experience for him being a coach, a professional coach out of college hockey, and I think he accepted the challenge quite well.
When I negotiated my contract, the one thing that I wanted to be able to control was the hockey operation, and that was very important to me. That was a very clear point right from the beginning, that the hockey operation would be my part of the franchise, and they have left that entirely to me. I'm kind of pleased the way the boys have come on, the way they've worked, the pride they've taken within themselves and for the team, and the goals that they've set for themselves and the way they've worked towards them. I think I have to be pleased with that part of it.
Thank you.